the bottom, but really ain't no one on top of us. I see the ain't coming and I did not need no binoculars. If this was a game, then we about to win the whole tournament. This place going down and I'm going up like the firmament. You gotta pay the whole penalty for what you did to my people. They told us to shoot for the stars, but first let me shoot at the eagle. This is a movie part 1 and I cannot wait for the sequel. No wonder you run from the sun, cause you are the shadiest people. But enough of this talk about you, now let's get back to reality. We march when the cops kill our people, but we don't march when we go kill our family. I call it insanity, sanity, 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 sanity. They took all our nickels and dimes, when it comes to sense we don't have any. Ha ha ha, he's our financial calamity. I got the most dangerous book on this earth, so I dare one of y'all to come challenge me. I'm reading it over and over till my people been cycled. You said I got love everybody, but that script is not in the Bible.
Yeah, bringing sanity like Sean T. Crossroads for those who cross me. Esau feeling all heat. Place with a dog leash. That's a rod of iron, don't you dare flee. It's a wild game and you dare meet. We control the fight like a new Hadouken. Watch it get down right, left beat. His high horse getting murky. Full of pride since birth. Cast Lucifer from his heaven. Bet he get real down to earth. If you want kings, the South has it. We activated, not acting. Wait until that day the sky cracking. Make them feel that heat like couch plastic. Here stand the day. This a mental war and they challenge. The scales of judgment unbalanced. The prophecies is unraveling. We get crucified in the media. If you're in your feelings, get past them. We the real men and we set the lead. Get that woman out you like Adam. Spazzing out, going insane. Free slave in a mud chain. We've lost the kingdom, time to regain. In a wine press full of beat stains. World war a few weeks away. Carpe diem, we seize the day. I deserve it all, that's all they need to say. Said he asked the pieces, that's a peaceful day. Said he asked the pieces, that's a peaceful day.
Pray to the God who made me. Y'all done got way too crazy. Y'all done got way too crazy. Y'all done got way too crazy. Pray to the God who made me. Y'all done got way too crazy. Y'all done got way too crazy. Y'all done got way too crazy. Y'all done got way too, I've been thinking about it, I get in. Jakey J got a problem for getting. He went out, let reality set in. That the enemy out here to get him. Your head on the wall cause it's mounted beheaded or facing the other direction. Cause we walking dead in the dead ends. The chariot drop, I'm like get in. Cause we tryna dodge Armageddon. One body move, one mind, 1, 2, double time like 11. I move things with my mind like 11. I watch these all face as a red end. Definition of Zion is weapon. The truth like a virus is spreading. Say you out of your mind if you catch it. Then I'ma be dying to get it. We doing this over and over again. Every time it fall through. All cause of sin and it's harm and it's ball of confusion. I ain't convinced we caught up, arm in the rim. Break down the word, my job entomology. I live in different dimension and it's called reality. Where we don't make no apologies. And eternal life be the silence.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's 144,000 degrees. Hey.
That's what usually happen on the feast days, though.
Cause it's ceiling fan on, make your shoulders drop.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Cut the ceiling fan on, make your shoulders drop.
Hey.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Then go ahead and spin it like a helicopter. Come on, yeah. Cut the ceiling fan on, make your shoulders drop. Like, yeah. Then go ahead and spin it like a helicopter. Yeah. Come on, yeah. Okay, we like the party. Tell them play the Hebrew tunes, let's get it started. Eyes on the DJ, tell them turn up the volume. Cause we want dancing, we don't want no problems. Left those at the house and I forgot about them. Cause tonight is the Lord's night, we partying all night. Our minds on the Lord and ain't nobody in fist fights. If they try and bring the drama, tell them to think twice. Cause I'm trying to have a good time. Tonight we gon' jam like the kingdom here. Got a bunch of problems waiting, I don't even care. Righteous, I swear these days be priceless. Seeing my people smile make me feel the nicest, no kidding. They mad cause I'm feeling myself. Feeling his presence, man, I know the Lord here. Who's scared, man? Ain't nobody got no fears. Now, all my party people, put your hands in the air like, cut the ceiling fan on, make your shoulders drop. Like, yeah. Then go ahead and spin it like a helicopter. Come on, yeah. Cut the ceiling fan on, make your shoulders drop. Like, yeah. Then go ahead and spin it like a helicopter.
Okay.
Is it hot in here? Is it just me? Cut the AC on, turn it up, please. Like a hand might is about to get ugly. For the ones always on the web, call them duck fees.
Cut the ceiling fan on, make your shoulder drop low with it. Spin it all around like you on the merry-go with it. Hands in the air, bring them down, hit the wall with it. To the dance floor with it, to the dance floor with it. A commandment, keep it with dancing fever. All my Jews in the building and I'm glad to see it. If you ain't having fun, I won't have it either. Sight, you in a bad mood, I'ma have to leave you, right? I deserve to die, I ain't have to pay the price. It's getting late, we about to stay tonight. Told my job I'm taking off like I'm taking flight. What can I say? This is the life.
Cut the ceiling fan on, make your shoulders drop. Like, yeah. Then go ahead, spin it like a helicopter. Come on, yeah. Cut the ceiling fan on, make your shoulders drop. Hey, yeah. Then go ahead, spin it like a helicopter. Come on, yeah.
I said round and around we go. Put your hands up and enjoy this song. Why the new moon's gotta take so long? I've been waiting all month just to praise my Lord. Holy convocations, conversations solely. We gon' get down tonight, holy macaroni. And if it's macaroni, I need extra cheese. We in the place to be, you can best believe. Cut the ceiling fan on, I need extra breeze. I've been sweating all night from my head to feet. At this rate, I don't know that I should grab a seat. Release new moon for my splendid speakers.
Cut the ceiling fan on, make your shoulders drop. Hey, yeah. Then go ahead, spin it like a helicopter. Come on, yeah. Cut the ceiling fan on, make your shoulders drop. Hey, yeah. Then go ahead, spin it like a helicopter. Come on, yeah.
Crown the kings. Crown the kings, know what I mean? Crowns and rings. Crowns and rings, country grammar, sound serene. Wash them clean, drip that's water, southern smoke. I went for broke, I proud of me. Crown the kings, know what I mean? Crowns and rings. Crowns and rings, country grammar, sound serene. Wash them clean, drip that's water, southern smoke. I went for broke, I proud of me. Champion sound, king me. They want me in cuffs, enough is enough, free me. Yeah, I'm calling your bluff, you ain't no Greek, ski-wee. Ooh, not Q's, not nukes. Cargos, black boots, you know what to do, salute. Wartime excellence. We strong in the vibe is might. Out of darkness in the light. Gold streets in my sight. Who's the king? Christ. Who am I, Israelite? You know what that mean, right? You giving me the crown of light. Ha! Go rolling through the fire. Purge out my impurities as I do what's required. Light it up, take me higher. Level 12 ain't high enough. 144,000 riders right behind him when he crown the kings. Crown the kings, know what I mean? Crowns and rings. Crowns and rings, country grammar, sound serene. Wash them clean, drip that's water, southern smoke. I went for broke, I proud of me. Crown the kings. Crown the kings, know what I mean? Crowns and rings. Crowns and rings, country grammar, sound serene. Wash them clean, drip that's water, southern smoke. I went for broke, I proud of me.
Crown the kings, the Lord is King of kings. We kings and priests drinking this steam is black extreme is. Media blackout, Christ he black, we bringing it back out. Daniel 10:6, Revelation 1:14, that Jesus white bread slice. Still in the forefront, ain't trying to push to the background. Still the truth gon' cover the earth like Feast of Tabernacle campground. Come against and be happily found and be fighting against God. Stand down. Yo, Dr. Twiz long, see how you still selling that. Dr. Twiz long, see why they still buying it. It's bland and it's tasting twisted. Okay, you don't see me, but it's beneficial. The line stop right here at Mason Dixon. Hold the line. Free me. Exit 5 and 1 repeat. Luke 174 3D. With my glasses at GP. Crown me.
Crown the kings. Crown the kings. Know what I mean? Crowns and rings. Crowns and rings. Country grammar, sound serene. Wash them clean. Drip that's water. Southern smoke. I went for broke. I proud of me. Crown the kings. Crown the kings. Know what I mean? Crowns and rings. Crowns and rings. Country grammar, sound serene. Wash them clean, drip that's water, southern smoke. I went for broke, I proud of me.
This right here is so electric. Country bumpkin, wake 'em up. Narc
apocalyptic. In pain to be delivered like we expected. Crown my king and yes, he black, y'all gon' accept it. Give me your minute. Country Kings always in the building. You're super blind and can't see the vision. I think you lost focus on the mission. Yeah, we making hits back to back like Alabama and Mississippi. Twin crowns for the twin states. God promised us to get the gate. This that dirty. This the streets where kings were made. Where we picked the whole field of cotton while the white man was sipping lemonade. Crown is back where it belongs. Yeah, the South got something to say. Turn up the heat. Country Kings ruling over our enemy.
Crown the kings. Crown the kings, know what I mean? Crowns and rings. Crowns and rings, country grammar sound serene. Wash them clean, drip that water, southern smoke. I went for broke, I proud of me. Crown the kings. Crown the kings, know what I mean? Crowns and rings. Crowns and rings, country grammar sound serene. Wash them clean, drip that water, southern smoke. I went for broke, I proud of me.
Crown the king with the founder things. Oops, I mean finer things. I'm a king, ain't trying to bling, but my light shine like a diamond ring. My rhyme is king, so futuristic for you to get, you need a time machine. Platinum crown with the green stones, a son to call them lima beans. This burl, right? I'm melting ice, my gum is dripping pearl, right? These matching braces with these platinum swirls tight. Stay fresh to death, prepare to rule the world, right? I'm that bread third type. That be posted at your corner stores with everything you wanna know. Got preset packs and fly stacks in my Bible strap like Geronimo. Babylon is gonna blow, then all hail the king of kings. He gon' soon the throne and his rule is long and the 12 tribes gon' bling and bling.
Crown the kings. Crown the kings, know what I mean? Crowns and rings. Crowns and rings, country grammar sound serene. Wash them clean, drip that water, southern smoke. I went for broke, I proud of me.
Shalom, shalom, Israel. Most High Christ bless. You are tuned in to the Natives Hour, home of the 10 tribes. I'm cutting the gather to my left.
Soldier has to die.
To my right.
Soldier Gadiel.
And all praises, we got some good articles and topics to bring out today. All right. Let's jump right into it. Let's get what we got. What we got going on. Let's go. Let's do it. Come on. Let's get it in. I think this first one is what about? You say Native American boarding school?
Yeah, this is about the Indian boarding schools.
And you know what's crazy? We brought out a few weeks ago about the boarding schools in Canada. But right here in America had many hundreds of boarding schools. Hundreds of boarding schools. And we're going to bring that thing out. We're going to bring it out. Go ahead. Bring it out. Go ahead and play that video. Bring it out.
These are the ruins of an old Native American boarding school on the Rosebud Reservation in South Dakota. Until the 1970s, more than 350 such schools were set up with the explicit goal of eradicating Native American culture.
Stop.
Erase.
Hold on, y'all. We have some. Okay, there we go. They said these boarding schools were put up for the purpose of eradicating Native American history, right? What does eradicate mean? Can we look that up? Let's look that up. Let's look up the word eradicate. Let's look that up. Because that goes with Psalms 83. Let's read that real quick while IT team getting their stuff together. Let's read that. Psalms 83. Go ahead.
You want verse 1? Yep. The book of Psalms, chapter 83 and verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace and be not still, O God.
Go ahead.
For lo, thine enemies.
Thine enemies. God has enemies, y'all. God has enemies. Read.
For lo, thine enemies make a tumult.
Go ahead.
And they that hate thee.
They that hate God, read.
Have lift up the head.
Go ahead.
They have taken crafty counsel.
That crafty counsel. You got to understand that when bills and laws are made, they had to come and they had to talk about it, counsel it, put it on the table, agree to it, change things. And all of these were unbeknownst to the so-called Native American Indians. Was unbeknownst to everybody. That's that crafty counsel. Read on.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
Against God's people who are the Israelites, the so-called Native American Indians, the so-called Hispanics. Y'all are God's people. Y'all are the Israelites.
That's right.
Read on.
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
Thy hidden ones. Read on.
They have said, come, let us cut them off.
Cut them off is the same thing as saying eradicate. Same thing as saying as kill the Indian, save the man.
Isn't that genocide?
That's genocide.
That's genocide.
That's exactly what it is. Cut them off. Read on.
From being a nation.
From being Israel. Because they'll allow you to be Native American. They won't allow you to be Israel. They'll allow you to be black. They'll allow you to be African American. They'll allow you to be Hispanic. They'll allow you to be Mexican, Puerto Rican, Cuban. They allow you to be all those things. So when it says cut them off from being a nation, it's not talking about the nation name that they gave you. It's talking about cutting you off from being the name that God gave you, which is Israel. Read on.
That the name of Israel.
See that? That the name of Israel, which is your nation, that nation which they wants to cut off. So the name of Israel, read.
May be no more in remembrance.
And they have done that. How? Boarding schools. Native American boarding schools. That name of Israel, you don't remember anymore. Are we ready? All right, let's roll. Yep, good job. Eradicate. Go ahead and read that.
Eradicate. Verb. Destroy completely.
To destroy Didn't we just read that in Psalms 83?
That's right.
We just read that. To destroy completely. Destroy your heritage. Destroy your name. Destroy your language. Destroy the way you ate. The way you dressed. Your marriage traditions. To destroy everything. Go ahead.
Put an end to.
Put an end to. One synonym is exterminate.
That's crazy because Officer Uriel brought it out a few weeks ago.
Exactly.
Exterminate is what you use on vermin. Is what you use on mice and bugs.
Cockroaches, right?
Damn. Right, roaches. You call the exterminator. Termites. Exterminator. Bed bugs. Exterminator. So they wanted to exterminate the 12 tribes of Israel. And they still want to exterminate the 12 tribes of Israel today, which you so-called Hispanics and Native American Indians. All right, let's go to the video.
The hell is this?
Let's go to the video. And start it from the beginning, please. I like the building on fire. Start from the beginning.
That biblical smoke.
Biblical smoke. You don't know nothing about biblical smoke. Let's go.
These are the ruins of an old Native American boarding school on the Rosebud Reservation in South Dakota. Until the 1970s, more than 350 such schools were set up with the explicit goal of eradicating Native American culture.
Erase and replace. Erase language, replace with English. Erase spirituality.
Now the Edomite lady said,
replace with
the Edomite lady said, erase and replace. Erase and replace. So everything, you understand what that means? It means every single cell of our thoughts were given to us from what was erased. Everything, our tradition was erased. So that means the tradition we're doing today is the replacement. The names we have today is the replacement. The ideologies, the ideas, the religion we have today is the replacement from the white man erasing it in the first place. Damn! Come on, y'all. Come on. Hey, come on. Hey, y'all gotta stay with me now. Come on now. Go ahead. Go ahead and go back to the video, man. Come on, Omar.
1900, more than half of all Native children lived in the strictly regimented institutions.
Corporal punishment, physical punishment, malnutrition. Certainly we know sexual abuse. They were hellish institutions by any definition of the term.
No one is sure how many children died in the system. Recently, the remains of 9 Lakota children who died at a school more than a century ago were returned for burial on their native land.
The boarding school system not only did harm to the children who were caught up in it,
Hey,
it also
can you go
severely
back
damaged Native
like
American society
15 seconds?
with effects.
Go back like 15 seconds.
For burial on their
Go back.
more
Go back. Right there.
many children died in the
Go back.
system.
Go back. Right there.
They were hellish institutions by any definition of the term.
No one is sure how many children died in the system.
Lies.
Recently, the remains of 9 Lakota children who died at a school more than a century ago were returned for burial on their native land.
Stop. 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 So they said 9 Lakota children died in these border schools over what, a century ago? Damn! That is bull crap. I'm gonna tell you right now. That's bull crap. It was way more children died than 9, and they know exactly how many died because they had to have records.
That's right.
Got a person, yeah. Come on, Ricky.
Exactly. So you're going to tell me a child died in a school,
right?
And they don't take accountability or numbering of them at
right,
all,
right?
Sounds
It's all
interesting,
bullcrap. They had to know how many they abducted because that's what they was doing. They was abducting children from their mothers and fathers. They had to document that stuff. They had documentation.
Exactly.
I think when it says 9, that's just 9 whole bodies that they were
right.
Because then the thing that said they mutilated them, they tortured them. Esau
Right.
is wicked.
Hey, that's true. Hey, that's a heavy point. 9 whole bodies. So I mean, they probably found a leg here, an arm there, a brain here,
Baby skulls,
right? And they didn't have a full body. Hey, that's a good point. That's a good point. Go back to the video.
The boarding school system not only did harm to the children who were caught up in it, it also severely damaged Native American societies with effects that have been felt generation after generation.
Native American youth commit suicide 2.5 times more than the general population. The rate of alcohol and drug abuse among Native Americans is higher than for any other group. They have lower life expectancy. There are many reasons for these problems, but boarding schools played a role.
Stop. So, I mean, why this ain't being spoke about in the news about America? That the reason why a lot of our Native American, so-called Native American, who God calls you Gad or Reuben or even Hispanic, or Judah. See, hey, you Judites out there, I'm gonna tell you something. Y'all want the Native American hair. Hey, in the world they always say, oh, you got good hair. I got Indian in my family. But then you come to the truth and don't nobody want to be Gad. Everybody want to be Judah. Everybody want to be Judah.
It's funny you say that, Cap, because growing up, they taught us that it wasn't no more Native Americans.
What about Native Americans, right?
That they were either were wiped out by the Pilgrims,
right,
or that your grandmama was Cherokee,
and they taught you this, right?
Exactly,
they taught you this,
right? And they believed it, and they still believe it today, even in the truth. Ain't that something, brother? Y'all ain't no wrong being Gad, man.
I'm Judah until Christ tell me otherwise. But
okay, you Judah till Christ tell you otherwise. All right, all praises. All praise. Gonna be a lot of Gadites I'm telling you, a lot of Gadites who thinking they damn Judah.
We gonna walk through the gate proudly, like all praises.
Yep. But y'all gonna go to Judah gate first. That angel gonna say, "Oh no, take your ass down to the 6 gates down that way.
Damn!
6 gates down to the right. Go ahead, man. Go back to the video.
Recently, U.S. Interior Secretary Deb Haaland, herself a Native American, announced an official investigation into the boarding school program.
To promote spiritual and emotional healing in our communities, we must shed light on the unspoken traumas of the past, no matter how hard it will be.
Chichangu Oyate Lakota member Lynn Colombe says her own mother never had a chance to learn parenting skills during her youth in a boarding school.
Hey, stop right there. Stop right there. So notice how it said they never had a chance to parent their own children. We're going to bring something out real quick. We're going to grab this book. We're going to grab this book that's called Atlas of... Go ahead and read that right there.
Atlas of Indian Nations by Anton.
Hold up. We're going to put them on the screen so everybody can...
We want everybody to see this right here.
Yeah.
Because remember...
Yeah, they got it.
We brought out... in the Bible, it says they took crafty counsel.
Right.
Means they sat down and they thought about this.
Right.
They thought about this and said, you know what? We're gonna make sure this happens. We're gonna do this systematically.
And you know what? They didn't just think about it for their time. They thought about it for their great grandchildren's time.
Exactly.
They said, I'm gonna make sure that my seed rules over these savages for eternity.
That what it said in the scriptures? That every thought of
it's
them
deep. They deep, man. They think generationally. Negroes think yearly, or sometimes monthly.
We think paycheck to paycheck.
Right.
That's right.
Esau, the white man, thinks generationally. They think hundreds and hundreds of years in advance, thousands of years in advance. When the white man came over here and conquered and took over the land that the Lord gave to the so-called Native American Indians, they knew that this land will continue in white power. They knew that.
That reminds me of like gentrification. When it comes to gentrification, they do that like 30 years in advance.
Mm-hmm.
They plan it out, right?
Yeah, they set up where they want so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to move to, make the crime rate there very bad, and then when it's time to execute their plan, they start setting up bike lanes and Starbucks.
Right, bike lanes. Hey, bike lanes and Starbucks and what's them things you can pay? The mobile scooters.
Yeah, the razor scooters.
Yeah, the razor scooters where you can pay for it and drive around the damn hood. You see Edomites going through the damn hood. We had camp yesterday, and I'm surprised to see so many white people go through that hood with just no worries at all. When the spot we was at last night was a big gang spot. I'm like, damn, there's a lot of white people out here. White people are just strolling through the neighborhood with their bikes. I'm like, dang, they are safe.
The messed up part is while we're over here trying to tell our people not to gangbang, there's an Edomite who lives but like 3 blocks down, and the night of, he walks up to us like, hey, y'all better cut it out. I'm calling the cops. I'm trying to rest and get some peace. Yeah, what?
Crazy, man. Go ahead, go back. Oh, no, you got the, go to Pull.
Atlas of Indian Nations by Anton Truer. Next. Page 264.
Now watch this. This is from the National Geographic. They published this. Read that.
The government was evolving its policy and finding new ways to disconnect Indians from the land. Concurrent with the attack on tribal land, the government established a residential boarding school system for Indians that would profoundly impact the California tribes. Next page.
This is the government now. This is what they did. Read that.
In the late 19th century and continuing until World War II, Indian children were removed from their homes and placed in residential boarding schools run by the federal government.
They forced them out of their homes. Now watch this. Read.
The schools enforced harsh physical discipline for speaking of tribal languages.
They beat them like slaves.
Damn, read that again.
The schools enforced harsh physical discipline for the speaking of tribal languages.
Hey, don't that sound like what they did to Kuta Kinte?
Exactly.
Come on now, dog.
That's exactly what they did to Kuta, right? Same thing they did to Judah. They did the same thing to Judah. They beat that African language out of you. They beat that African name out of you and told you when a master give you some boy, you take it.
Bring it
and
out.
They beat them. Go ahead.
Think God is not going to hold you guilty for that?
The schools enforced harsh physical discipline for the speaking of tribal languages. And students spent half of the school day working.
Doing what?
Working.
You was a slave. Keep going.
Children were completely dislocated from their families and home communities. And many did not see home for 12 years.
So in 12 years, ask yourself, how many Gadites died during this period? It wasn't just 9. This is years. Now watch this. Keep going.
Upon completion of schooling, racial barriers prevented many young Indians from finding jobs in mainstream America.
And you weren't going to get no job after all that. Watch this. Keep going.
Often they returned home, sometimes not recognizing their own parents or even speaking the same language.
Their parents didn't get a chance to father them, to mother them, to teach them anything. They came back and was like, who or what is this? They couldn't even recognize them. Keep going.
The residential boarding school system rent a giant tear in the social fabric of Indian life. Dang.
That's slavery right there.
That's like the crack epidemic.
That's exactly what it is. The crack epidemic. Read that last part again. The residential boarding school.
The residential boarding school system rent a giant tear.
A giant tear. Go ahead.
In the social fabric of Indian life.
When it says in the social fabric of Indian life, I want you to understand something. When you look at a blanket or a cloth or rag, clothing, it has fabric, right? That fabric is put together to make what you see now as a blanket or a cloth, a shirt, whatever. When it says, go back. When it says that the school, no, that's right there. The school system rent a giant tear in the social fabric of Indian life. What that means is that these boarding schools change the way the so-called Native Americans live today. When it says tear the social fabric of life, that means their whole life, everything they ever learned about life, everything they ever thought was life was torn from them, was torn, and they gave them a replacement. What do they call it? A
supplement.
A supplement. But it was false. It's like somebody taking your brand new Jordans, authentic, and replacing them with fake Jordans. Fake Jordan with, you know the Jordan they got with the belly?
Fat man Jordans?
The Fat man Jordans. But I mean, this thing's fake. But they look like Jordans, but they're fake. That's what's going on with the so-called Native American Indians. That's why we go to Deuteronomy 28. Go to Deuteronomy 28 and start at verse 29.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 29.
Get out.
And thou shalt grope at noondays.
Go ahead.
As the blind gropeth in darkness.
We groping at noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness. Why? Because what is embedded in our DNA about our life has been changed. Exactly. So we're fighting against what we know to be true. What we know to be true and what they given us as truth is battling each other. So we're groping at noonday. Read on.
And as the blind gropeth in darkness.
That's why we're groping. We're groping. We're reaching for something in the daytime. But to outsiders, it's like these Indians are savages. They don't know what they're doing. That's because we're blind. We've been blinded by what they've been giving us as the truth. But in our DNA, in our genealogy, in our spirit, we know something's missing.
Exactly.
What the hell is this?
You know what you saying? Where like they collide?
Yeah, they collide together.
The white man calls that cognitive dissonance.
Hey, look that up. That's not a Negro word. Look that up. Cognitive what do you say?
Cognitive dissonance.
Dissonance?
Dissonance.
Look that up, man. This brother come with the big words. All praises.
I got on glasses.
Hey, I want glasses too, bro. Glasses don't mean nothing. You'd be a dummy with glasses on.
That's fair.
Go ahead.
We not though.
Nah. We ain't dumb. We far from dumb.
That's right.
We scholars up here.
That's right.
Bible scholars. You got it? Go ahead, pull it up, bro. Read that.
Cognitive dissonance, noun, psychology.
Hey, go to the Merriam. Oh, y'all know I love Merriam. Yeah, just scroll down and click on Merriam. It should be on the same Google page, right under the suggestions. Merriam. It is pretty nice. All you gotta do is go back. Just go back. Just watch this. Go back. Transfer. Scroll down. And right there. Oh, scroll down. Go down. Oh, damn. Merriam ain't up there? What Esau did to Merriam?
Well, it's a technical term, so you're going to
put at the end, put definition at the end of it. Yeah, just put definition. Yep, right there. And then Merriam should pop up, go down. No? What's wrong, man? Google tripping. Nah, yeah, just type in Merriam. Yeah, that's fine. You can do it on the screen. Go ahead. Space MER. Space MER. Right there. Boom. Is that the Merriam? What I'm talking about? Yep. Yep, that's it right there. Yep. All right, let's read that.
Cognitive dissonance, noun. Psychological conflict resulting from incongruous beliefs and attitudes held simultaneously.
Damn, go to the synonyms. Hey, those synonyms? Shit, you gotta explain that, bro.
It's exactly what you just said, Cap. So the thought process of understanding.
I gave the plain sense. Nehemiah 8:8 say, read from the law distinctly and give the sense of the reading. So go ahead, man. You gotta give the sense now, man.
So as Esau would explain it is, Gad's the tribe of Gad's understanding of how to live, our heritage, what we should eat, what we should wear, how we should be conducting ourselves, began after that those 12 years of brainwashing in Esau's residential schools began to collide with the now understanding of what the world is, the white man's world, white supremacy. Right. So the white supremacy in our minds fights against the laws of God that we know we should be doing.
Okay, all praises. Hey, brother, you good. Brother, you good. Brother, you good. All praises. All praise. He should drop the ball for that, brother. That brother needs a hand clap. Get that brother a hand clap, y'all. Come on, Noah, where we at? Noah, get a brother a hand clap.
They hate me. They hate me because I abandoned them.
You did it better, bro. You just moved on to bigger heights, man. That's all it is, man. They'll be here soon, Lord's will. You know, Lord's will, the Lord send the growth, Lord send the laborers. All praise to the Most High. Hey, you know what I was thinking about? I don't know if you ever seen Westworld
with the robots.
Yes, how eventually they start glitching real bad. They start glitching and realizing like, dang, these dudes is killing us. So what they do every time they die, they reprogram their minds to make them forget.
Exactly.
But eventually they start remembering exactly what's going on. They're actually robots. Like, damn, y'all actually against us. So we're not going to lay down no more and let y'all kill us. Now we remember everything. We're going to kill y'all.
Can I pull a can I get the book of Hosea, chapter 5 and verse 15?
Bring it out.
You got me, Soldier Gadio?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Bring it out.
5 and verse 15?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. The book of Hosea, chapter 5 and verse 15. I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense and seek my face. In their affliction, they will seek me early.
So that's us getting gunned down. That's us being afflicted by COVID-19. Us being in Indian boarding schools. Because it's still happening to this day, except they call it CPS.
Right. Yep. They call it Child Protective Services, where they can come get your child for any accusation, not even something real.
Anything.
They just come for anything. They come get your child. And that's what's going on in these Native American reservations, but it don't make the news. These stuff don't make the news, man. What's going on, man? The murderings, the suicide, the rapings, the kidnappings, all this stuff is going on.
Kidnappings are heavy.
Yeah, big time.
And they got heroin addiction. Heroin and meth addiction is heavy, especially in Navajo Nation.
Yes, alcohol abuse. That's the big thing. And you know, they don't even have alcohol on reservations.
At all.
They don't have no alcohol. They go and get it and bring it to the reservation.
And it's evil how Esau it's evil how Esau and the nation set it up, because they put it right off the reservation.
Right. Soon as you leave, boom, liquor store.
It's a trap.
Yeah, go ahead. Go back to the video. We're gonna take a break after this. Go back to the video.
Missed out on learning from their own home and learning from their own families on things as simple as showing affection.
Her niece, Vesta Colombe, reflects on the pain the system caused her family.
Because of the way my grandmother was treated in these schools, it caused a lot of abuse between my mom and her siblings growing up, because my grandma was really never truly taught how to love somebody or to be loved.
Many Native Americans take pride that, despite the efforts, the system caused her family.
Because of the way my grandmother was treated in these schools, it caused a lot of abuse between my mom and her siblings growing up, because my grandma was really never truly taught how to love somebody or to be loved.
Damn, stop.
Many Native Americans.
That's heavy, man. It said, what you said, my grandmother? What you said? My grandmother wasn't taught?
Because she wasn't taught how to love, she doesn't understand how to love.
She don't know how to love. And when they say that, that means she don't know how to love herself. So I mean, she'll do all types of abominable acts because she don't even know how to love herself.
Because they were beating her. They're beating them all, like as if what they were slaves.
Yep.
Come on now, dog.
Rats and dogs.
It reminds me of right before camp yesterday. We was in the 7-Eleven getting ready, and this young woman, I think she was either Issachar, but she could have been Gad. The way she was talking, she called her little son a BAN.
Damn,
because he threw some ice, snatched him up.
They don't know how to love, man.
Like sea monsters.
Right, there you go. A lot of our sisters and brothers out there in this world, out in sin, they are searching for ways to show brotherhood. Like we was talking to the brother, brotherhood, unity, love. Our people want that stuff, but like we said earlier, what's that term? In what?
Cognitive dissonance.
It's a battle, man. It's a battle that they're having within themselves, that they know what is right to do, but they can't do it. Or it's a battle to do it because of what the white man has presented to them. Damn. All right, moving on. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to take a break. All right, y'all, we're going to take a break. Here on Natives Hour, we'll be right back. Home of the 10th Tribe. Shalom.
If I war, meditate there upon my mind. Hands press boot of his shine. Man terrible in a war time. Dream team. Well, if I war, then it is roll deep rounds, red blue, pull up then lock down street. Hit spot, jump out, I get 4-door Jeep. And we match black pants and boots, pan feet. Then we reach for the back. Pull out the heat, man, I spray with the weapon and I listen to my teeth. In a war time, we no two trace like y'all. We no take tough chat, reach boy teeth. I'm a heart too cold, man, I know about mercy. Cops and marathon, them concrete, hey. All I shot, yeah, boy, me no skin teeth. If you know, some me grim, man, come here, so we blood reach to the regular. Base full of lead, any weapon, just a ring up, come and set the palm repeat. Man, a victory dance, cause they boy, them get the feed. Last man standing, so the mission complete. You see, war time. Meditate there upon my mind. Hands press boot of his shine. Man terrible in a war time. Dream team in a war time. Meditate there upon my mind. Hands press boot of his shine. Man terrible in a war time. Dream team.
Warriors walk with the truth. You know, sister, them and them come poop. Only wisdom when them have is just a wisdom tooth. You forget the W, you just kiss them.
which spirit you rolling with. Either you rolling with the spirit of Satan, and who's waiting for the lake of fire, or you gonna roll with the spirit of Christ.
Created, manufactured right here in the Americas. Don't slip on that. This new Negro that we see today was a creation.
If you walking around worrying about your breath when you know death and destruction is everywhere, nigga, you gonna die.
Shalom, this is Bishop Nathaniel. 34 times the Booster Club has been called upon and 34 times they've answered. Join the team today and help send the prophets around the world. 12 tribes worldwide. Shalom.
I can't get enough for this word, call me library. All you do is talk, I tell them read, I'll be your pallbearer. As long as my hands clean, I'ma teach, I let the laws tear. You rebuck your doctrine, can't believe I even fell for it. Yeah. Bodies dropping, no top models, no need for worries, cause God got us. See, masculinity need to be shown for real, and all of you that's cross-dressing would be dressed to be killed. Apollo Creed, but I'm hitting like I'm Holyfield. You counting sheep, but you the hireling, the type to flee. This for the meat, when the battle won, they gnash their teeth. I can't believe I even fell for their hypocrisy. Like it or not, it's Kwam Yasharala. Laws attached to the brain, medulla oblongata. We are not the same over here, we walk with giants. 10 toes down where the clay is mixed with iron. I can't get enough for this word, call me library. All you do is talk, I tell them read, I'll be your pallbearer. As long as my hands clean, I'ma teach, I let the laws tear. You rebuck your doctrine, can't believe I even fell for it.
Some people talk a lot, I just minister. In this race, you gotta last just to finish first. I'm in a big league with the top prophets, warming up in the inside.
We used to scream black power.
Shalom, welcome back to the Natives Hour, home of the 10 tribes. I'm Captain Gadda to my left.
Soldier Asadai.
To the right.
Soldier Gadiel.
All praise to the Most High. So we're going to get right back into it. Let's play that first, what is that? Article. Yeah, let's read that first article.
Oh, go back up. Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds blames unvaccinated migrants for recent COVID spike.
Uh-oh.
Part of the problem is the southern border is open, and we've got 88 countries that are coming across the border, and they don't have vaccines.
They don't have vaccines.
Damn! There aren't 88 countries in South America.
We got 88 countries that are coming across the border, and they don't have vaccines. They're the reason we're all dying here.
My favorite part about Donald Trump ever becoming president is it shows how many idiots they have running this country.
Yeah, that's stupid. Stupid as hell. Go down. So this Iowa governor is blaming you got to be careful with the words, with the virus, the plague epidemic on unvaccinated Hispanic people, basically. Let's read it.
Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds on Tuesday blamed migrants crossing the U.S.-Mexico border for some of the nation's COVID-19 spike, saying none of them are vaccinated and they're getting dispersed throughout the country.
They're getting dispersed throughout the country. That sounds like trafficking right there. That sounds like they're being trafficked.
I hate it here.
What you gonna say, soldier?
So, correct me if I'm wrrom. Let's go to the beginning of all this now. Didn't they come over here and infect the gas?
Oh! Stop!
Am I wrong though?
Stop! Hey, that's a heavy point. That's a heavy point. You say that. Now they complaining about they made up accusations, right? That the Mexicans, South America is infecting the good old white folks of America with COVID, right?
Come on, man.
With no proof.
None.
But like you said, soldier, they came over here to Arsarith, who God calls Arsarith, the white man called it America, and put the plague upon the so-called Native American Indians, and that's in history books. That's factual proof that they came over here with plagues, with diseases, and intentionally gave them to the so-called Native American Indians.
In their history books.
Right.
They showed it. That
right. They tell you it's in there. Yes.
Exactly.
We did this to these savages. Yes. But then they got the nerve to make up an accusation like this. Go ahead. Go back to the article. This is some crazy stuff. Go ahead.
The root part is spiking because they don't want to put a mask on because of their freedom.
Right. Their freedom.
It's crazy. While public health experts have been citing the virus Delta variant and lagging U.S. vaccination efforts for the latest coronavirus surge, Reynolds said...
Disclaimer, we're reading off the article, Mr. White Man. We're reading out of the article. We're not saying these are not our words. We're just reading.
I don't think they care. They be trying to shut us down.
Oh, yeah, they're going to shut us down for this. We're just reading.
Reynolds said partial responsibility rests with newcomers coming across the southern border.
Go ahead.
Part of the problem is the southern border is open, and we've got 88 countries.
88 countries, y'all.
That are coming across the border, and they don't have vaccines.
88 countries.
they don't do this with influenza, though.
Bro, it's a what do they call it? It's a agenda here.
They don't do it with European immigrants.
Say what? Right, they don't do it with European immigrants. They don't even do it with Chinese immigrants.
Arab
immigrants when the damn virus started in China. In China. You know how Donald Trump said, in China. China. This is China. It started in damn China. What? But they still allow Chinese immigrants to come over here. That's crazy. Go ahead.
A spokesman for Reynolds said Wednesday her statement mirrors views from other lawmakers in Texas.
Uh-oh. So you already know who them lawmakers is. Good old Uncle Sam. Good old Mr. White Man.
And Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz, who abandoned Texas when it got so cold that the damn pipes were bursting. His ass was in Hawaii.
Come on now, dog.
His ass was where was Hawaii or somewhere.
He just went on vacation. I forget where.
Yeah, he went on vacation. He said, "I'm gonna leave y'all. I ain't dealing
Actually, I
with
think
this."
he went to Mexico. I think
Mexico,
he went
somewhere.
to
He went to
Tijuana.
somewhere. That's crazy. Go ahead.
Joe Henry, state political director for the League of United Latin American Citizens of Iowa, called Reynolds' statement hate-mongering.
Hate-mongering.
And she said she could concentrate on boosting Iowa vaccinations.
That's the whole point. That's the whole point of the article. The whole point of all these accusations is to boost vaccinations. They want the whole world to be vaccinated, right? Now, this one, I want you to understand something. I know we might get banned for this, but oh, good old damn well. I seen this list. They had a variant coming out every year for the past like 6 years. A different variant, a different type of COVID coming out.
They're rolling it out like 2Ks?
Yeah. They roll it out. And they have a variant every year. This year variant was the Delta variant, right? So they want everybody to get the vaccine for the Delta variant, right? So next year is going to be another variant. So we got to get another vaccine for that. I'll tell you, man, it's designed to. Let's go with the article. Go with the article.
Less than half of Iowa residents are fully vaccinated, according to the latest state data.
Go ahead.
That's crazy. Iowa's a white state.
It's a white state. It's a red state.
But they blaming us.
Yeah,
they
right.
saying it's our fault.
Right. It's a red state. All American states are red states. I want you to understand something. And we ain't talking about politics.
Roy.
we talk about the color of their skin. Red states. Who runs the state? Red people. Go ahead.
For her to say that we consider that hate mongering, Henry told the NBC News on Wednesday. She needs to be doing her job here in Iowa. We're still having a problem here in Iowa with people being vaccinated. Reynolds' comments came as the Center for Disease Control and Prevention on Tuesday issued new masking guidelines in the wake of a surge in COVID-19 cases.
Ain't nothing new. They just redo it the same thing they did last year during this time. The same thing. They issued a mask, right? And the next thing is shutdown. Watch. Go ahead.
The CDC said all students in kindergarten through 12th grade and teachers and staff should wear masks when they return to classrooms this fall, even those who have been vaccinated.
Which don't make no sense.
Hate it here.
If I'm vaccinated, why I gotta wear a mask? If I'm vaccinated, I shouldn't catch COVID. If I'm vaccinated, I shouldn't give COVID.
Exactly.
But what they're saying is that the vaccinated people are getting COVID and dying from it and giving COVID. I'm like, damn, what's the point? So what's the point of it if it's not going to cure a damn thing?
See, that's the thing with a vaccine. It's just taking a weaker form of whatever virus is out there and putting it in your body for your white blood cells to beat up on. So you're giving yourself COVID willingly, and it's kicking your butt because you spent all this time indoors.
Hey, I want to put a disclaimer before we go any further. Please, Mr. White Man, don't shut us down. Please, Mr. White Man, don't shut us down.
But it's our fault.
For saying the word vaccination.
My bad. Inoculation.
Yeah, you gotta
Inoculation.
say,
Poke.
you gotta say another word for
The jab.
The jab. There you
Oh,
go.
I like that. I like
The
that.
jab.
The jab. They trying to give everybody the jab. Hey, go to the next one. Go to the next one. Yeah, go to that. Because remember now they blaming so-called Hispanics. They blaming so-called Hispanics, right? They blaming so-called Hispanics for passing the virus in America, right? Go to the next video.
This is such a complicated, nuanced story.
We don't want to talk about it. We don't want to know about it. Yeah, I think that's it.
This exhibit really discusses and explores the history of Indigenous captivity that we know took place in the San Luis Valley and in southern Colorado. The way that we have uncovered a lot of this history is through listening to people who have been impacted by this. In some families, this maybe wasn't talked about.
We've been finding these stories and like making those connections and helping them to understand the past so that they can come to terms with it or to actually be validated by these stories that they were true.
This is an attempt to use art to give people an opportunity to have a conversation that the powers that be don't want to be had.
They just want to talk about the happy outcome. And that wasn't true for everybody who was in this region. There were no happy outcomes for
Hey, that's a heavy point. There were no happy outcomes. So they telling you in these history books that the Native American Indians and the, what do they call them? The Pilgrims sat down and came together and they were just all happy and didn't fight and nobody cussed each other out. Nobody killed each other. They all sat down in harmony. Well, that's bullcrap. It's a bunch of lies. Let's prove that in the Bible. Go to Deuteronomy 28. God tells you that this white man came and there was no happiness. Verse 49.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 49.
Bring it out.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far.
Go ahead.
From the end of the earth.
The end of the earth, the so-called white man, read.
As swift as the eagle flieth.
This man's tenacity will be compared to an eagle. His symbol will be the eagle. His character will be the eagle. Read on.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. We didn't say hola como estás to Christopher Columbus, to Ponce de Leon. We didn't say donde eres. We didn't say have a good. We weren't speaking Spanish. Read.
A nation of fierce countenance.
No, happy days.
Fierce countenance.
Sit down and eat turkey and cranberry sauce together.
A nation of fierce countenance.
The Bible's telling you that everything in these history books that said it was peace is a damn lie.
Exactly.
The Bible says, read it again, verse 50.
A nation of fierce countenance.
These people were fierce. Remember, they resemble the eagle. The eagle don't even fly in packs. The eagle flies by himself just because he's that fierce.
Eagles will fly, swoop down, pick up a goat, drop it to
and
death.
Drop it. You got goats climbing the mountains. They'll go pick up a goat and fling them off the mountain and then fly until they hit the ground and they're dead and go down and eat them. Fierce countenance, man. Read.
Which shall not regard the person of the old.
They don't give a damn about the old. They don't give a damn how old you are, how much gray you had in your head, how much wisdom you was bringing forth to your tribe. Because when you kill all the old people, you have no remembrance there. You have no history. Your history's been taken away. Your language, nobody's going to remember the language because the old people passed down the language. The old people passed down the traditions. So they kill the old. Read.
Nor show favor to the young.
And then they kill the young. It says, nor show favor. So they killed the old and they said, kill the Indian, save the man.
That's exactly. A cold precept.
Kill the Indian, save the man. None of that was done peacefully, man. I want you to understand that. None of that, none of what we're about to listen to was ever done peacefully. This man has never done anything peaceful. Remember, the Lord said he's going to live by the sword. His countenance is as the eagle. Eagles don't bring peace, man. Ain't nothing peaceful about an eagle. They about destruction. They about killing. And that's what this man is about. Go back to the article. Go back to the video.
The people who lost their culture and their traditions and their livelihoods.
People need to know this, this history.
Feel my ancestors, right?
You have to give me a pound. For the past 68 years, the space has been an exhibition dedicated to the colonialist settler story, narrative, basically being a celebration of everything Kit Carson. And after 68 years, they decided to center a different narrative.
We have changed direction. We originally had a Kit Carson exhibit throughout this space and representation of his life and what it would have been like here. We are now shifting the focus from Kit Carson to the people who actually lived here and had their lives affected.
We know that where we were at was home to different indigenous communities, of course the Ute, The Apache, the fort sits in the shadow of Mount Blanca or Cisnagini, which is one of the 4 sacred mountains of the Navajo. We know that this...
And this is right here in Colorado. Right here in southern Colorado, man. It talks about the Apache, the Arapaho, talks about all these different tribes that were enslaved right here in Colorado in the 1800s. Go back.
Space that we're in is the northern edge of the Spanish frontier. It was later Mexico. And then after the Treaty of Guadalupe, Hidalgo becomes the United States.
And indigenous people were part of the trade. They were considered commodities and they were sold, bought and sold. Raids were made upon the...
Stop! So you telling me that Native Americans were bought, sold, put on slave ships, sitting across the world?
Indigenous people.
Interesting. Where's that in the American history? Were they teaching that
right.
in the schools?
Right. That it in there.
Exactly.
It's not in there. Can we read it out the Bible, please? Let's read it out the Bible. Let's read that out the Bible. Yep.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 48.
No. Read verse 30. Let me see. Read verse 32.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 32.
Bring it out.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
Go ahead.
And thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long. And there shall be no might in thine hand.
So we just heard the sister say that Native Americans were hot commodity. They were sold into slavery and shipped across the world. We just heard that all this is history that's out there that they don't want you to know in these schools, man.
Exactly.
They don't want you to know just how bad the white man is. How everybody in America is being bamboozled and fooled by how wicked this man is. So they take it out the history books. But they can't take it off the web. It's there. They can't destroy all the slave sites, all the reservations, all the proof. And that's what happened. The Lord is bringing forth that proof. Everything that's hidden, the Lord is revealing that thing.
That's right.
Lord revealing it to let Israel know, hey, it's time to wake up. Now's the time. You've been asleep for too long. You so-called Hispanics, you so-called Native American Indians. It's time to wake up. All right? Go ahead. What you got?
I was going to ask. That's when you look at it, the fact that they didn't teach us in school. Because if they would have taught us this, we so-called black people, so-called Hispanics and Native Americans, we would start to feel for each other more.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We wouldn't be doing like race wars and weird stuff in high school and stuff like that. We would look at each other like, wait, you was in slavery too?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yep.
That's interesting.
Interesting.
You went through the same thing I went through. That's why only the few that revolted against America's system. You had the Black Panther Party, right? You had the Brown Berets. You had the American Indian Movement. You had the what was the other cats? What was the other one?
Young Lords.
Young Lords. They all understood that their enslavement was connected. They all understood that, and everybody outside of them didn't give a damn. And it's always gonna be like that. You always gonna have brothers and sisters that care and want to learn more and want to revolt spiritually against the wiles of the devil, and then you got those that don't give a damn, that love them some good old Popeye's chicken, KFC, Colonel Sanders. They love the, and you know it's crazy. I was thinking about that.
Mayonnaise, damn!
Hey, we eat KFC, right? You know Colonel Sanders was a slave owner.
Wait, where you think he got the spices from?
Yeah, he was a slave owner.
White people don't use spices.
Colonel Sanders was a slave owner.
Come on now, dog.
Who chicken he was selling was being made by slaves.
Damn.
And we still eat that crap. We still blatantly support a organization that was built and funded and started from slavery. Ain't that about that's some crazy stuff, man? That's something to think about.
That's where that cognitive dissonance kicks in. Because
our
people will watch this and they'll hear you say that and they'll be like, it was just some chicken.
Yes, it's just chicken.
It's cheap.
Hey, is it like Popeyes, right? On the commercials, who they got promoting Popeyes?
Black woman.
The black woman. Does the black woman own Popeyes? No.
You know it's messed up. I had to go to Popeyes to do some deliveries, and on the thing on the door it says, "You need to get the jab."
The jab.
They are fully promoting that, and it reminds me of the Boondocks episode when they ate the chicken sandwich.
Oh man!
And then they all came down sick.
I'm telling you, man, it's crazy. But we support these institutions. That's what they are, institutions. And we wonder why we're addicted to food. Anyway, go on to the next one. Go to the next one, man. Yeah.
It was
what
later
we got?
in Mexico. And then
yeah, keep playing.
After the Treaty of Guadalupe, Hidalgo becomes the United States.
And indigenous people were part of the trade. They were considered commodities and they were sold, bought and sold. Raids were made upon the indigenous people, and they were sold to wealthy people who could afford to have domestic help and also labor. And so they were taken from their tribes and you know, basically assimilated into Spanish life, or whether it was a different tribe's life, and just basically robbed of any of their indigenous cultures that they carried with them. I have a personal connection to that history. I have an ancestor who was an indigenous captive. My great-great-grandmother, her whole family was killed except for her and her young daughter.
Dang.
So she really didn't have anything to go back to once they did sell her off. However, she knew she didn't want to be there, and she ran away several times, and they kept bringing her back. So at some point, she had to accept her fate and that she wasn't going to be able to leave or escape and go back to where she came from. I feel like there's a lot of stories similar to that, and so we started this work to find those stories. They were in any of the history books.
Well, she said they're not in the history book. Hey, replay that a little bit.
To leave or escape and go back to where she came from. I feel like there's a lot of stories similar to that, and so we started this work to find those stories.
What's messed up is when we see this, and she's talking about her grandmother. This woman, this Gadite woman, is taking care of them white kids. Same way you see pictures of old Judite women taking care of and breastfeeding little white kids.
Exactly.
We are oppressed together.
Hey, so you had Native American women breastfeeding white people's kids, just like Judah, American, so-called African American women breastfeeding white people kids.
And just like today, when Issachar and Zebulon come in, and they got to be nannies for the white man.
Damn.
What happened in the past
happens today.
Yeah, same thing. We all want people. Get that Jeremiah 50. Damn. Go ahead.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, verse 33.
Bring it out.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel.
The children of Israel.
And the children of Judah.
And the children of Judah. So you got the children of Israel, the so-called Native Americans, so-called Hispanics. Then you got the children of Judah, the so-called blacks, Haitians, Jamaicans, West Indies, African Americans, so-called. Read on.
Were oppressed together.
Were what?
Oppressed together.
Were oppressed together.
What?
That means we all went through the same thing.
Exactly.
Judah was breastfeeding babies. Gad was breastfeeding babies. Issachar was breastfeeding babies. African Americans was beat, put on slave ships. Native Americans was beat, put on slave ships. Hispanics were beat, put on slave ships. Haitians, West Indies, we all was beat and sold across the world. We are the only people. I want you to understand something. You so-called Hispanic, so-called Native American Indians. We are the only people that are still being called by what our slave masters put on us. We are the only
powerful niggardry.
We are the only people that are still have our slave masters' last name on us. We're the only people. Every other race of people, when they got free from their bondage, they made sure they changed their names. They changed their cultures. They changed their traditions. They completely separated themselves from the time of slavery or the time of bondage.
Message.
Even when a dictator is over them, when that dictator gets thrown down, everything changes. The traditions, the law, everything changes. We are the only people that are still calling ourselves by a slave master's last name, but then saying we're free. Bring it out.
Free from what?
Free from what? Free from what? You still call yourself Jesus, Pablo. Give me some more.
Thompson.
Jamar
or Thompson, whatever. Give
Gonzalez.
Me some, Gonzalez. Thank you.
Come on now, dog.
Fernandez.
Hernandez,
Flores.
Rodriguez, Flores. All of these are names of your slave masters. All of these are names of the conquistadors, the Spaniards. But we say we free, but you still got your slave master last name on you. And you still got your slave master's ideology in your head. Exactly. You ain't free.
The rude part is this whole land belonged to Gad and Issachar. If you was free, wouldn't you have your land back?
You ain't free. You just slaves with good time. That's all you is. You just slaves able to leave the plantation from time to time.
Right.
That's all you are.
Not even that, because your house is on the plantation.
Yeah, it's on
you
the
can just go back
plantation.
to the shack.
Go to the next article. We almost done. Go to the next one. We almost done.
Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, like, share, subscribe. IUIC Denver, IUIC in the classroom. Get them likes up, y'all.
You ready? Go ahead. Read that, Soldier.
Some Native Americans fear blood quantum is formula for paper genocide.
Blood quantum, right? For y'all that don't know what blood quantum is, and this is how we gonna go into something deep right now. We're going to go into something called DNA. Something that America like to call Ancestry.com.
Here we go.
Who's who? Let's find out. Go ahead and read that article.
Native Americans have survived centuries of imported diseases, dispossession of lands, and forced assimilation.
Wait a minute. You said that thing start off? It say Native Americans have survived centuries of imported diseses. That means diseases that were brought to this land by the colonizers.
Interesting.
Sounds like no, never mind.
So hey, it's some bull going on right here. Because earlier, remember we read about the governor in Iowa, right? How she said that the COVID is coming from 88 countries in South America.
Exactly.
But this is factual that her ancestors brought every disease that we have today over here to America. To our
Every